Hey everybody, welcome back. Alex here. Apple once again changed the computer industry with their 2-year conversion to Apple Silicon. This is the ARM-based processor that they're using now, the SoC, or System on Chip as they call it. It includes all this stuff in it. You've seen my videos before, you know what I'm talking about. This is a pretty ambitious target that they're likely actually going to hit this year. On time. Amazing. Intel, are you watching this? Apple not only changed and redesigned all their machines, they also did it on time. Take note, Intel. Wait a minute. Intel is not only taking notes and already releasing multi-use cores in their processors, like the Apple Silicon chip, that includes the performance and efficiency cores, P&E cores, you might have heard of this, and the new Alder Lake chip has that division. But Intel is also taking Apple's top ARM engineer. They poached Jeff Wilcox, who was instrumental. Wait. Not instrumental, he was the guy. He led the team at Apple into their transition to Apple Silicon. It took over 8 years. He was the leader of the team that made the M1 chip. And to make matters just a little bit worse for Apple, a couple weeks later, another one of Apple's top ARM engineers was poached, this time by Microsoft. It's like Apple is proving how successfully their ARM transition went on personal computers, and suddenly their employees are being picked off one by companies who also now want to have their own ARM personal computers. Well, at least ones that work well. I know, Microsoft had a little product called Surface Pro X, but let's not go there. You better watch out now because the floodgates on ARM tech are now going mainstream. Well, maybe. I think Intel is gonna keep doing what they're doing, making chips. Microsoft might have some other ideas for what they're gonna do with Mike Filippo. That's the guy that I'm talking about. I'll get into him a little bit later. Now we know that Intel is looking to improve their chip designs and start making SoCs. This is the system on chip that I was talking about. The integrated chip with everything on it, including memory. And that's a step in the right direction, in my opinion. But given that it took maybe 8 years or so for Apple to develop its SoCs, it might take Intel just as long to do that too. Oh, wait, they just hired a guy who probably knows some shortcuts. Here's Jeff Wilcox on LinkedIn. This guy actually came from Intel, went to Apple, and now he's back at Intel. Jeff, we need you to go on a secret mission. We can't afford to do all this R&D for a new chip design, so we want you to get hired by Apple and use their trillions of dollars to develop this chip, and then come back here to Intel right after they launch to avoid any suspicion. Oh, and please wear a helmet. We also know that Microsoft had their eyes on consumer ARM-based products like the Surface Pro X, and they're also still working on Windows 11 for ARM, which actually works pretty well, I might add. I happen to run Windows 11 on my MacBook Pro with the M1 Max chip, an ARM-based chip, and the operating system itself runs pretty smoothly. This is partly thanks to the great virtualization support from Parallels, and if you haven't seen any of my videos using Windows on Mac with Parallels, definitely check those out. This is not sponsored by Parallels or anything, but I do have an affiliate link down below for a free trial for you and a coupon code if you want to buy Parallels. There's just a lot less software that will run well on an ARM version of Windows, but I'm sure that'll change as time goes on. That being said, I don't think that Mike Filippo is there necessarily for the consumer side of things. Oh no. Microsoft's biggest cash cow is their cloud. Oh yeah, Azure, as they call it, has become huge, and it's a huge chunk of Microsoft's bottom line now too. Can you just imagine nearly 60 regions in 140 countries have huge Azure data centers? These are like football field-sized buildings full of servers. There are likely more than 4 million physical servers that are part of the Azure infrastructure. Yeah, cloud sounds like a nice magical place, but the truth is that these are just a boatload of physical servers that consume a truckload of electricity and take a shipload of cooling to operate. Likely these machines are running Intel and AMD-based server processors, and we've seen how efficient those are, haven't we? Can you just imagine how much electricity would be saved if that many servers were running custom ARM-based processors instead? Maybe even in integrated systems like the ones Apple designed where the RAM and the CPU are all together on one SoC or SoC. Now people do complain about how MacBooks are not upgradable because they're personal computers and you can't just swap out the RAM or upgrade the RAM. But guess what? This would actually be a benefit in a data center. It's gonna take up less space, and if a server fails, a little robot arm will just pop it out and pop in a new one. See ya. Now with all that savings, can you imagine how much money Microsoft will save? And here comes the hero, Mike Filippo. Microsoft must have showered him with so much moolah to get him, especially since Apple has given away their top engineers bonuses of $180,000. Bonuses. All right, just a rumor. I don't know the actual numbers. I don't work for Apple. I don't know these things. This is a rumor. Now this guy will probably make that per month at Microsoft. I don't know. With his experience though, they got a good one there. Here's Mike Filippo's LinkedIn. He's worked as a CPU designer since 1996. He worked for AMD, then Intel, and then ARM, interesting, and then Apple, and now Microsoft. This guy knows it all. Listen, Mike, we need you to go undercover. Work at Intel and see what they're doing. Then work at ARM, just in case it ever takes off. Okay. And then work at Apple and Microsoft. And then come back to us. Tell us what you learned. All right. Got it? Make sure you wear a helmet, okay? So the bottom line, all conspiracy theories aside, is that these moves will keep the competition alive and well and hopefully result for some goodies for us. Whether it's cheaper and faster and longer lasting laptops or even a greener planet. Hey, I hear that's a good thing too. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel for more content like this, and I'll see you in the next one.